You tell me when LeBron has faced a team like that.
Yeah, and that's how they do though. Because somebody was asking me about some. My younger cousin was telling me about LeBron. You know, LeBron getting close to Jordan. He about Jordan, man. Jordan, he about to get Jordan as the greatest player ever. I said, no. I said, he said, well, who do you think? I said, there's one dude that nobody talk about. He said, what's that? I said, Bill Russell. He's like, oh, you know, he wasn't all that. I said, I'm gonna run this back to you. Do you realize how many seasons he played in the league? I said 12. I said, you know how many championships he won? 11. Come on now. 11 out of 12 championships.
And that's when they played defense.
Yeah,
that's when they played.
Yeah, he's like, we didn't play against nobody. I said, you ever heard of Will Chamberlain? And I said, you know, he used to do it when he was with Philly with the Warriors. And then when he moved to the Lakers, he used to do it then. All the 6'10". Come on, man.
You had centers back then that didn't even get recognition. Artis Gilmore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Bob Lanier. Bob Lanier.
Wes Unseld you had to go up against. Come on, man.
Even cats like Jack Sigma, man. Yeah. When you were Seattle, you had to bring your shit because they was like, really? And you didn't want to see Maurice Lucas when he was coming out, change fucking ass.
Mo.
You didn't want to see Mo.
He was a rough customer.
He's a bad dude. He might be one of the coldest dudes there, just mean, just tough. Yeah.
He used to be the one that used to at halftime be smoking.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. In the locker room. Chain smoking in the locker room. Coming out like, I was like, man, he should be dead. Banging with Jeff Mahorn and shit. You know what I'm saying? Dude, he was nasty.
You know, I said, I won't take anything away from LeBron. Don't get me wrong. He's done what he's done. But so if you start talking about the best and all that, you just got to consider it's disrespectful to players that came before him. It just is. I mean, I know I can't say I've seen a lot of players, but you got to realize the game was built and given an opportunity to do what he does against, in my opinion, inferior teams. I mean, nothing against Miami, but come on. How did they even make it to the finals?
Hey, I'm gonna say, I said it before, people think I'm crazy. When you evaluate Jordan shit, who they beat, really?
Yeah.
Who they beat?
True.
Dude, like Utah. You knew from the beginning. Ain't nobody watching that damn program thought Utah was gonna win.
Portland. You're right there. I gotta give you. You're right, Portland.
Yeah. I mean, they were mentally inferior. Old Magic, the old Lakers. In Seattle didn't have enough. They were young. And I mean, 6-6. I take nothing from it. But don't act like Jordan, you know, was dominating these great teams because, you know, I still got that Orlando whooping that ass when he came back on VHS. I got that still on VHS. You hear me? Every fucking game. I watched this. I was like, oh.
That was a beating.
Yes, it was. Penny, stack. Ooh. I used to love them. I was a huge Orlando Magic fan back then.
Welcome to the First 40 with the Goon Squad. It's Black Thor, Ice Water, and yours truly, Puma, talking sports on October 19th, 2020. How you doing, Black?
I'm doing well, man. Happy to be here, bro.
All right. Ice, how you doing, man?
Outstanding, brother.
Outstanding. All right. Let's do the NFL eye test. Black, I'm going to go with you first. I just saw a game with Kansas City, and they were pounding ground all night, just running the ball. They scored 26 points in the game, and they just relied on the running game pretty much all night and just beat that Buffalo defense down at home.
It's funny because I knew that game was on. I got a little busy and get a chance to catch it, but I'm glad to hear that because Kansas City needs to play and win a game like that, man, from time to time. Don't get me wrong. You have the great Mahomes back there, but you need to establish that running game. And just as it starts to get cold, have that available to you. And that was smart. That was very smart of Hennemy to kind of go that offense coordinator, take that route, and just win. And kind of at some point, that's one thing I miss about some of the old school teams. Old school football, you would just impose your will sometime on another team. You just lined up, imposed your will, just took their heart, and by the end of the game, they gave up and you won. And it sounded like that's what happened in that game. It was some pretty good football over the weekend, man. Even though the game wasn't much to really watch, I'm going to start with this game. It may sound crazy. The Jets and the Dolphins, man. The Dolphins, it's kind of crazy since took them to the third quarter for any team to get a first down. Think about that for a second.
Why you watch the game?
To get a first down. I mean, that's the thing. NFL should have a rule to where you're playing that bad, we just block you out in your local area and don't show you. But I would say this too, man. I watched, I was able to watch a bunch of games and bounce around. Cam Newton, I know he didn't practice, so I'll temper this just a little bit. But Cam Newton played yesterday of what we've seen the last couple of years in the Carolinas. Some of his passes were just kind of crazy. He's taking off, he's running, and he has to watch it because if he's losing that way in Patriots, he's not going to find a job elsewhere. I hate to say that, but he won't. He has to kind of settle down, stay in kind of what they're doing, and even if your passes are short, bro, keep your passes accurate and get the team down the field. There's a guy that was wide open. I might have been a fourth down play. He missed bad. Practice or no practice. The guy, I mean, when I say he threw like 10 yards away from the guy for no reason, no rush, you just can't do that anymore. If you're trying to basically sign yourself up for another team, that can't happen. You got to play better than that. Green Bay proved again. San Francisco did it last year twice, that you can punk them and you can punk Aaron Rodgers, bro. Tampa Bay punked him yesterday. Bad. There was a play, I'm not sure if you saw, there was a play where, I can't think of the cat's name. He didn't even try to tackle Aaron Rodgers. He walked up and just shoved him to the ground, man. I was like, dang. That was just a bully type of, even they jumped out and got ahead first. Tampa Bay's defense bullied Green Bay the rest of the game, and they didn't want no more. By fourth quarter, they didn't want no more. They was waving a white flag like we're done. And they basically show again, if you bully them and get to Aaron Rodgers, as good as he is, at some point he will mess up and give up. And to me, that was one of the big disappointments because that should have been a real good game of the week. Chicago, man, I know, we may not think much of them, but guess what? They're 5-1. And if they can continue to play this way and Green Bay slips, all said and done, they're going to be there. They're going to be there. Tennessee got something going on, bro. I know Kansas City's playing, but at some point they're going to crash heads, and it's going to be something because Tennessee got something going on. I like the way they're playing, a little bit old school, but they can score when they need to. Even Houston, Romeo Crennel, I'm sure they may not give him the job, but they're showing you they're fighting, they're playing, they're out there. And it's amazing. It's amazing. I'll leave it with this. It's amazing what happened, what should have happened after week 1 or maybe week 2. Firing the head coach and general manager of Atlanta Falcons, where that team went up and down the field yesterday, bro, and where they play inspired. It's amazing. Utterly amazing. In Minnesota, bring back Danny Green.
Wow. Ice, you texted me yesterday, and you said you texted me not the Cleveland Browns, but the Cleveland Clowns with that Pittsburgh and Browns game. What were you seeing in that game that you felt you had to text me to talk about Cleveland?
I mean, it's probably partially, mostly the media's fault because, they had all this hyped up. We talked about the Browns versus the Steelers, and they didn't execute. They were 4-1 wherever they were, and they didn't execute at all. And last year they talked about them, they could possibly go to the Super Bowl. Let them do something first. Let them prove themselves. Show me something. 4-1 doesn't make you a champion. It's a lot of teams that go straight down in the back end of the season, but they get all hyped up about it, and then you just kind of look at it and say, "Wow, what the hell is going on?" So yeah, just from that standpoint, Baker Mayfield is supposed to be doing this, and how it goes. If he doesn't start making no plays, them receivers gonna turn on him like they did last year. All of a sudden, they weren't available. They weren't catching balls, or they weren't running routes. And then they waving at the camera and saying they want to play for this team and all that other stuff. So all I know is they better not have a downward spiral because it could be bad. But I think the coach, though, is really trying to get them where they need to be. But you can only do so much because guys have to make plays. So that's what that is. But on the other hand, I keep talking about that old man. That old man out of the streets. He knew what down it was yesterday, didn't he? He rallied them troops. They just shellacked Green Bay.
I'm sorry, Tom. I'm sorry.
Time alone, trying to tell you. And if they play like that, man, it's gonna be dangerous. So I was impressed by that. Also impressed by, it seems like when the media attacks certain people, they go off. 49ers over the Rams. Garoppolo was like, "Shit, I told y'all this is my damn team." I tell y'all said they pulled me. Okay, let me show you. It's almost this motivation, guys playing pumped up and whatnot, and the Vikings. And I think I'm really pissed off because I have one fantasy team. Russell Wilson is my quarterback. My backup, Cousins, Kirk Cousins.
Why?
There was nobody else. I was like, he can't. I need him for 1 week. And he didn't have a favorable matchup against Atlanta, right? Everybody, they loved it. Like, they don't, okay, great. He threw 3 interceptions in the first half. 3! And then he came back. I was like, oh, man, what the hell? So, yeah, I'm glad Russell Wilson will be back. But just the point of you losing to Atlanta, I guess you got to give Raheem Moss some love on that. Because as Blackthorne mentioned, all of a sudden, miraculously, they're playing football again. Like, they're using the weapons that they should be using properly. And it just kind of makes you scratch your head. I don't get it. And poor Bengals. They on their way, but they ain't ready yet. Try to tell them like he's out. They're not the Bengals no more. I was like, wait a minute, hold on. Let them finish the game.
I remember that name, the Bungles. Yeah. That's the first time I heard it when I was in Ohio, the Bungles. It would crack me up every time I hear it. They even benched Baker during the game. I mean, I guess he was playing so bad, they benched him. And I was really surprised. Well, I shouldn't be surprised that Atlanta came out and played. But Atlanta showed you they got a lot of talent. Black, you were right, the Titans, they play that ground and pound. They just played Tuesday, came back Sunday. Like, they had like 2 weeks rest and pounded the Tennessee team. I mean, the Texans team. And it was just beautiful to kind of watch. When I thought, I kind of tuned into the Miami game later, and then they put Tua in later to give him some, because Fitzpatrick was just, I mean, I looked at Falco. I didn't see what you guys saw last week with Falco. He still looked like Falco to me. And, Fitzmagic is still, they're still doing the job. And what I noticed about the Rams, I think we overestimated the Rams, because Al Michaels made a great point yesterday that their 4 wins all came from the NFC East. Washington, Dallas, Philadelphia, and the Giants. They lost to Buffalo and they lost to San Francisco. So maybe they're not as good as maybe we estimated they were, because when he said that, I'm like, yeah, anybody, all of us can go and play on the team and beat the NFC East at this particular point. But when he said that, I'm like, okay, they dominated that division. They're probably not that good. They may sneak into the playoffs. I wouldn't put it past San Francisco turning it around and making it into the playoffs. But it seemed like when the Rams play a playoff team, or a team that has the potential to make the playoffs, Black, that they're not stepping up.
It's another team to me that they had a good hype year. The year they went to the Super Bowl. And then, let's be honest, they kind of went there in a fluke play that probably didn't really deserve to be there. And it seemed like, again, a team that lost the Super Bowl just hasn't rebounded. I don't know what that head coach is doing sometimes. They made him out to be a genius that year, and I think they crowned him a little too soon, man, because that offense looked nothing like the offense that they had a few years ago. I mean, you got Donald making some plays for the most part, but they kind of silenced him yesterday. They kind of basically put a muzzle on him a little bit, and it's just like they have no counters. You look at them, and I didn't realize either that they played against the NFC East, but you look at them, it's like, what's their identity, even offensively? What is their identity? They're not a good running team. I don't really trust the quarterback. The receivers don't get great separation. You look at them now, and it's like, what is going on? They start a lot of games against good teams real slow. The 2 good teams real slow. I don't know, man. I think that they're looking at them now. I know it's early in the season, but they're way overrated. And I don't know. I think their coach has been overrated. Their talent is kind of still there to extent on offense, but they just don't get it done, bro. They got what's name running around being a bully. That cornerback that they got from the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh, Jalen.
Yeah, I think they overpaid him a little too soon, and I just don't know, but I think they're in trouble because in that division you got Seattle, like you said, San Fran is not really going anywhere, and at some point the Cardinals are going to get better. So you better step up, Rams. You may want to step up and get it going. You got that new stadium, you got to do something in it.
Ice, did we overestimate the Rams being that good and maybe kind of contending in that division against the San Francisco 49ers?
Oh, maybe, but see, you thought that they had a plan that was going to work, right? So they were going to try to take the pressure off Goff, right? So they have a three-headed monster at running back. Problem with it is at least two of the guys, Brown and Henderson from Memphis, are decent backs, but they entertain them so much that you can't let the guy get a rhythm. And then now you're trying to put Goff in a position where he got to make plays, and he's trying to find guys like, what's his guy, favorite guy, Cup, stuff like that, and he's trying to hit certain guys. And you just really can't ask him to do too much. You got to have that solid running game. You got to have a strong tight end, and then let him make plays as he goes along. Because that's what happened to him in that Super Bowl, where they literally stopped the running game, and then they closed the window on him and forced him to make plays. They're like, look, the quarterback is going to beat us. Nobody else is going to beat us. And that's what they did. They literally just said, if you can make the plays and you guys are better than us in regards to the roster, you can win. But if you don't want it, New England's like, we'll take it. Even if we have to throw the, Edelman 19 times to beat you, that's what we'll do. And it was an ugly game, but I think that's where they're at right now. They have to figure that out. They got to figure out how they're going to win. They're not explosive as they were before. Black Thor mentioned it, and the wide receivers. I'm still scratching my head like, wow. But I also think about that too. Like at one time, how the Buffalo Bills had Robert Woods, and they had what's that guy over there? The other guy, Sammy Watkins.
Yeah, Watkins
was the starting wide receivers for Buffalo at one time. I'm like, wow, how times change.
Yeah. I'd like to apologize to Phillip Rivers and Tom Brady. Don't watch last week's show of what we said about you. Anywho, Le'Veon Bell signs with the Kansas City Chiefs, Ice. And we were talking about last week, what team he would go to. We named some teams that really needed him, but the rich get richer because Chicago, Miami, they lost out in the sweepstakes, and Le'Veon Bell signs with Kansas City Chiefs. Didn't play tonight because he's on COVID protocol, but they expect him back pretty soon to be in the Chiefs uniform. What do you think about the pickup?
I think it's a good pickup for them if he comes to play. If he comes to play. There's no reason now for him to have any excuses as to why he does not want to produce. You said the Jets were horrible. You looked at their lack of offense, all of that, okay? Now you are literally on a contender. You're on a team that won the Super Bowl last year. They need you from the standpoint because they want to share some opportunities and take some pressure off their young running back. And they could use a veteran to kind of spell him a little bit or him start or whatever you want to do. They need that 1-2 punch. So everything is out there for him. You had a similar situation where everything was for him in Pittsburgh. He was getting all the accolades, and he walked away from that or whatever. Now you have another opportunity. He gets to choose. He chose his team. He chose his team. He didn't go to Miami. He's like, no, I don't want to start all over. Now you have an opportunity to make a nice run with Kansas City. And Andy Reid is a player's coach. Everybody loves Andy Reid. So now what you going to do? I think it's great if he shows up. What does he want to do? This is all on him. Can't blame nobody else now. You can't. This is you. You chose the team. You say you healthy. What's the excuse now?
Black, if he messed this up, because he has a tendency to mess stuff up. But if he messed this one up, oh man, this would be bad if he messes this up.
I'm a little surprised Kansas City kind of reached out for him because I don't think they need him. But I do like the fact that Andy Reid will give cats a second chance or a chance to kind of come in and do some things. He's always been that way. I mean, hence Michael Vick. He brought Michael Vick back into the league. So I like that he kind of reaches out. And I'm not trying to compare Le'Veon Bell to Michael Vick, but to me, Le'Veon Bell, when I think about him, this cat was off for a full year. Full year. Couldn't play football. He didn't show us how to play football. You came back to the Jets. His rust is so phenomenal, in my opinion, to where you went to a team that had no offensive line, so you didn't have a chance. I think we're still living off what Le'Veon Bell used to be. I don't think it's there anymore, bro. I don't think it's in the tank. I just don't think he has that anymore, and I think you're going to see that at Kansas City. He's going to be given an opportunity, and I could be wrong, but I just don't think that. I like the fact he got the opportunity. I was surprised in the sense that Kansas City kind of stepped up, but I think a lot of times if we look in our rearview mirror and we kind of get stuck there sometimes, still looking forward. I just don't think he could project. I don't project him to do some of the things he's done before. He was in a great offensive line for what he liked to do. They knew him. They fed off of him. Ironically, looking back now, he should still be wearing that uniform, bro. I wish him well. I just don't see it. I just don't see it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see him with the Kansas City Chiefs in a winning culture, and they have their team pretty much set, and they could do it without you. But if he can contribute, oh man, that Kansas City offense is going to go to another level. Blake Bortles, Black, he got signed 1 week. He's out the next.
Bro, I'm going to just say this. I'm going to say this, man. This show has grown to such esteem. We should not even talk about this question, bro. I mean, realistically, why? When you give me and Ice a chance to discuss this, we tear down better subjects than this, bro. But you ask, I will answer.
This is why I chose this, because for years Kaepernick been out there available, and they pick anybody out the woodwork in supermarkets or in parking lots, at conventions, rodeos to play quarterback. And it took them a week to figure out, you know what, this was a really bad move. We need to release you.
Here's my thing with this, and it's partly the person that signed him, John Elway, for the week.
Mm-hmm.
He has no clue. It's hard to believe. It's hard to believe that John Elway hasn't said to himself, let me hire somebody and move out the way. Keep my title, but move out the way, because he obviously keeps showing you has no clue. You have all the tape in the world to watch Blake Bortles, and then you still sign him? Bro, I tell you, another quarterback keeps getting offered. Blake Barrett, or whatever his name is, Blaine, how the heck he keep getting signed? I'm not even going to take the Kaepernick route, because we know how that plays itself out. But other than being white, why are these cats even getting opportunities?
It might be Jay Cutler next week. We don't know. It may be Jay Cutler.
Oh, you know the quarterback, not the quarterback, the coach of the Jets brought him in and gave him $10 million to play for a year, and you saw that paying itself out.
Yeah.
Common denominator with a lot of these quarterbacks. They're white, bro. Hate to say it. They fit that role of a white stand back there. And it's like, there's no way in the world you thought, even for a period of time, that you should put a jersey on Blake Bortles, bro. I don't know what you thought you was getting. I have no idea. It's beyond me to think, as a general manager, vice president, whatever, that, there's got to be somebody on the practice squad somewhere on one of these 31 other teams that you could have brought in and stole and grabbed other than Blake Bortles. You got to be kidding me. But you got to do your homework. That's the easy grab. Then what did he show you within a week that you didn't already bring them in?
I think what happened was he came in smoking, drinking beer, to practice. What can you do in a week to get a job and then lose a job within 1 week? It had to be something disastrous. I don't know. Call somebody out their name. What could he do in a week to kind of just ruin a job?
Well, if you can't complete the passes in practice, they know you're going to do something. If you can't a 15-yard out, you know what I'm saying? You can't complete a 15-yard out, and you don't know where everybody's going. They're going the wrong place, wrong way. Elway as a quarterback, yeah, he's going to get rid of you real quick. If you slow to pull the trigger, just what it is. So, yeah, I was surprised they even brought him in. And then when I looked over, I was like, wow. But when you mentioned, I was going to say one other thing about the situation with, you mentioned about Le'Veon Bell. They've always, Kansas City real quick, has been always wanting to replace Hunt. They've been always wanting to replace him. And even though they had a young guy, they still missed the explosive situation that Hunt brought to the thing. But Blake Bortles, as Blackthorn mentioned, dude, come on, man. That's like, what is the one guy used to play for them and got all the money and then ran to Cleveland and they let him go and he went back to Denver. I can't even think of his name. The one guy we used to talk about all the time. I can't even think of his name.
Black, this is your boy Mark Sanchez?
No.
There's another one.
The other name.
Bring him in. You can't go wrong.
It was the guy he played with Denver. They gave him a bunch of money. Then they made a trade.
Oh, Osweiler.
Yes. And went back to Denver.
I had
He's not in the league anymore.
So much high hopes for Osweiler. I really did.
He's not in the league. I will say this real quick, gentlemen. I'm kind of, we got the game on with the Cowboys and what's the name? You know what? Cowboys going to need a franchise Dak right now because what's name going to get it done? This Tony gonna get it. He's going to the Cardinals already. Wide open Cardinals, man. Remember, sitting in their hands, so they might got a point. Bring, franchise Dak right now for next year. I'm sorry.
Go get Blake Brothers. He's available. Okay, let's go to college football. Ice, you text me about this, and I didn't even really see the game because I'm like, what's the point? 73-7. Clemson just put the hammer down on Georgia Tech. I've never seen that in the ACC, and I think that's a record in the ACC because usually teams play with a lot of pride in that particular conference. What happened with the Clemson game?
I mean, they were overmatched. Georgia Tech was, but when I text you, the one thing I saw, Georgia Tech's quarterback went back to pass, probably his best pass of the day. He goes back, throws like a 58-yard bomb, hits the guy square, turn right back around, and Clemson gets the ball. They throw a bomb, and they matching bombs. And then after that, it was all Clemson the rest of the way. You sitting there going like, and I left and drove somewhere to the store and was listening to it on the radio. And I was like, is it over yet? And then it's like 56. It's like 63. Then it's like 70. I'm like, damn, who's in the game? They had all people coming in the game, and they might have played like 92 players and 73 players they had on their squad. I'm sitting there going like, that's a damn shame. And that was televised too.
Yeah, it was televised. And in Black, that's a game where they should have just pressed the button at halftime. Any other games, Ice, that you saw? Because I saw a really good game. I thought BYU was going to lose against University of Houston, and they showed me something in that game. They're ranked number 15. The other team they're ranked too high, and they rank them high all the time. Notre Dame, if you can't score more than 12 points against Louisville, what the hell are you doing in the top 25? What the hell are you doing in the top 25? At home, please. Notre Dame fans, stop it, please.
Every year.
I don't want to hear nothing about Notre Dame this year.
Every year.
I know that they talked one game I was watching, and I know you like them and you want to put them up there. It's a good feel-good story. But North Carolina got popped by Florida State.
Yeah, they did. I was surprised with that.
I'm like, okay, Mac, I want to put you up there, but not just yet. Not just yet. And the other one was Alabama, Georgia. I mean, that's the easy one. It was a good game, and Alabama put the hammer down. I just had one question because I was talking to somebody about this. How the hell did Nick Saban end up coaching that game?
he got the orange man.
I mean, I understand the test, and they even went conference to conference how they go about it. But I'm like, he took like 9 tests on one day. He's supposed to be at the house. Yeah. He's supposed to be coaching again. I'm like, well, now it's official. They got the paperwork together, and he had his mask on. I said, he's still contagious. He's supposed to be at home. When I saw that, I was like, man. So, and then you heard the crowd real quick talking about, well, if the Big Ten don't play enough games, you got some of them people whining. We don't think that they're worthwhile and they should get included in all that. I said, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. It's even playing field. You just scared because you know if it comes somebody coming from the Big Ten or wherever and give you a real damn game, you just want to coast through and get your quick little championship. And you basically changing the rules for the coach when he already told you he's supposed to be at home.
Yeah.
We're going to be coaching now. I was like, wow.
I just shook my head.
For real?
Yeah, I just shook my head. Black, Tennessee got smacked by Kentucky. I told you guys last week that was going to be a good game. Kentucky, on the quiet tip, they're known as a basketball school, but they can play some football. Even though they have a 1-2 record, they can play some football, and they went into Tennessee and smacked them up real good.
I'm gonna yield, the eye test to Ice for this week for college football, because to me, man, there's no way possible Nick Saban should have been at the football at that game this past weekend, bro. And I don't care what he's done in the past, whatever the case may be, you can't come back and tell me it was a false positive. I don't want to hear that, bro. They found a doctor that he's asthma. Nick Saban's in his 60s, bro. That was no false positive. I think that test happened on a Friday. It takes, to get an accurate COVID test, it takes you 48 hours to get the results back. Don't let no one fool you. A good 48 hours. So you tell me in 24 hours, you tell me you test this man 9 times and he ain't test positive. Bro, and here's the thing that's sad about this, because it makes sense, because the SEC was adamant we're playing football. Adamant. But you mean to tell me that the AD had it as well. He wasn't at the game. He wasn't there. But Nick Saban's on the sideline around vulnerable young men playing, and everyone else wearing a mask. Bro, what have we come to when it comes down to college sports, man? Seriously.
Where we always been. Where we always been. It's about the money.
No. Bro, it's worse now than ever, bro.
Yeah.
It's worse. It's always been, bro, this is worse. Because you have basically lied down in a sea, bro. Right now, I mean, to me, that week, it's amazing. I heard people on the radio, oh, he should be able to be up in the booth where nobody can see him. What the fuck are you talking about? I mean, realistically, when you, as a country, you have people locked in their homes for 3 to 4 weeks in a month to slow it down. Here's a man that tests positive. Test. He comes back home, oh, I'm great. Seriously? I can't respect college football anymore for that, bro. I mean, we know the NCAA has no testicles when it comes down to it. There's no way. I don't care if you brought a doctor in from Zimbabwe that said he could be on the sideline. Hell no. No. I mean, easy. He should have been, maybe this coming Saturday, he put him out there. It's a joke. And the mere fact that you have commentators now that you like it was okay, and not one, I don't even call out names, not one stand up with the balls enough to say, you know what, this is wrong. It's wrong. I mean, let's stop acting like, we love sports that much that we can't live without it. I'm not even a big fan of the pandemic or whatever, but I'm sorry. These are unprofessional men that he's leading. What example is he showing them? But it's all good. He got to play Georgia. Like it was the last game when college games going to play in our entire lives. As a world, bro, we're fucked up. For sports, we are. College sports. College. We are, man. You mean to tell me Alabama is that bad of a team that if he wasn't on the sideline, they're automatically going to lose 80-0? But know what it is? Let's face it, in my opinion, they want a rematch. It's all about a rematch. Clemson, Alabama. That's where the money is, bro. And that's why he was on the sideline. You can't explain nothing else to me other than that. It's an atrocity. I can't even get the words straight to say, bro. To me, when I heard he was going to be there, I didn't want to read about it. Because to me, that's all this is. Clemson, Alabama again, bro. The rest of these games don't matter. The Big 10 can come back, the Big 15, the Big 45. It don't matter. Because right now, just like you said about LeBron, the NCAA and ESPN and all this, they want Clemson, Alabama to play again, bro. That's what it comes down to. The man tests positive. A false positive? He has no symptoms. He tests positive. POS. That's all I need to know.
But I agree with everything you're saying. But we've always known that it's money over morals. And this particular year, everything has been exploited with sports as far as the bottom line is how much money you can make.
Well, that's the problem, bro. Because we talked about this about a week ago. I think we brought up it was 2 weeks ago. I brought about that doctor having sex with men. And but people looked the other way and allowed that to go on. You got a coach punching players in the mouth. What the What's going on, bro?
It's been going on.
Long as we can, I'm just saying, we as a nation of people, long as we can crack open buzzwires on Saturday and watch that garbage, we think it's okay. I mean, realistically, man, at what point do anybody stands up and go, bro, this is wrong. These are young cats, young men, 18. And I'll just say this might be off the beaten path. But realistically, even in this country, a young man has to go to fight for a country that won't mean a hill of beans. They're doing the same thing, these young cats, man. They're taking advantage of young, vulnerable men and throwing them out there. Ain't no way in the world. And the parents are just as bad. Ain't no way in the world my son will be on the field that week next to him playing that game. I don't give a damn what university it is. But these parents, all they think is my kid going to the pros, my kid going to the pros. It's sad, brother. As a nation, we have lost it. Don't even talk about morals. We have it no more when it comes to sports.
Yep.
We don't have it anymore. It doesn't exist. Big Ten, the Big Ten athletic, whatever president said, you know what, we're not going to play. They was ready to burn that brother at a stake. Literally. light them up. My kid, he had more parents complaining, yelling, and screaming. I'm like, what the? I mean, seriously, man, what is going on? It's all driven by greed. You can't get no better than that. And I just thought it was interesting that him and his AD both came down with it. And they were the first ones to tell you, yeah, we're going to play. I'm sorry. I respect, this is a little side note. I respect the players now that's getting ready to file a lawsuit against Iowa for $20 million.
Yeah.
I respect the fact, whether they win or not, drag their school name to the F of the mud, bro. Do what you got to do. It's time out for these players being used, your blood, sweat, and tears, and they treat you like shit. I'm serious. It's time out. But you go in there thinking it's all the rah. Maybe I make it to the close. Damn that. They don't give a shit about these cats, bro. They don't. And it's being shown to you every day. This man could walk on the field making $6, $8, $9 million and know he tests positive. And I guarantee you, if you scan the band since Sunday to Monday, Shannon Sharp, the rest of them, no one had balls up to call them out. No one.
Yeah, I totally agree. Ice, you want to add something to this?
Yeah, I mean, it's what it was. I mean, I always said that when we talked about it before. I'm not surprised. My thing is when you talk about the parents, though, and I understand it. I'm not saying that they should put their sons at risk and stuff like that too. But my problem with it is, it sounds like it was almost as if the NCAA trying to do a good thing, and the Big Ten really concerned. The only reason why they did that because they didn't want to come out off no money. I mean, we know football's been tough for a long time. I will always bring back, you guys have brought up for years about the concussion protocol. Nobody give a damn. People dying. Dudes losing their mind, killing themselves because their heads are ringing, man. Their heads are ringing. So for as much as I understand about the parents should not just be, letting their kids be used, but they've been used for a long time. And so the parents are like, now you give a damn? We've been taking a risk. Now you give a damn? Because you're going to lose money. The money you have to pay out down the line for somebody maybe catching COVID and losing their lives. Now you care. You ain't cared before. So I'm not saying that the parents should still put them out there and let them, take the risk. That's a risk. I get that. Yeah. But as a parent, I'm like, now you don't want to let us play? Because you're going to have to pay if somebody gets sick. Hell no. You ain't never been for the right thing. I mean, I guess what I'm saying is two rights don't make, two wrongs don't make a right. I mean, it's all messed up. It's all messed up. And particularly with the COVID thing, when I look at that shit, I'm like, ugh. But again, they'll show you they don't care. All they care about is this cash. Everybody keep moving on. I say it all the time. Everybody, when you say something, they look at you like your head spinning around. I said the same crap about Ohio State and Tattoo Gate. They like, oh, we're going to suspend these 5 players. They so horrible. They changing, trading their gold pants for tattoos, and they're the scum of the earth. The man from the Sugar Bowl said, I need them to play. I don't give a damn what you got to do. I need to make this money off my TV deals. I need people to show up because they want to see them guys play. And then all of a sudden, all these guys who got banned or whatever are starting. Terrell Pryor won the damn MVP. Another damn trophy so he can get another tattoo. Come on, man. Straight pimping. Straight pimping. And I'm turning their head around, talking about whatever. No, how you going to say what is? And then what did he get? You gave him another thing, another trophy to work with it. All I'm saying is it's all messed up. We cannot be fooled by this situation like when they will come off and say, oh, we really care about the players because we're really concerned about their health. No, you're not. You worried about you're going to have to come off that money when these lawsuits start rolling in and you got a problem with it. That's what it is. Nobody really want to talk about that. And then you're so damn bad that and you know how it is. You know it's bad money now. You know it's a bad situation. When 45 come in and go, they love me in Ohio because I brought back Big Ten football. I was like, oh, it's going straight to hell now. It's no more. If they had any validity to them saying they cared about the players, when he said that, I was like, all bets are off. You cannot take none of this BS seriously. It's funny, but it's sad.
What's interesting to me, man? A lot, at least even in the NFL, where these cats are getting paid, I should say, they will move a game You have young men not getting paid. They could have moved that game a few weeks later, bro. They could have postponed that game they wanted to and moved it, but they couldn't because of TV money, bro. They couldn't. It's like, how could you not move that game back 4 or 5 weeks? Show some consideration. If you want Nick, if Nick Saban's got to be on the sideline that bad, if he's got to be there, let's be honest, man. He partly runs college football. Let's be honest, he does. They placate to him. The ESPN placates to him. But I'm just saying that I'm just amazed here again. I'm amazed that no one had the nerve to say anything. It settled well with everybody. It was okay. It was okay.
Well,
Alabama won. We saw the game. I didn't watch the game. I couldn't watch that game. I mean, realistically, Alabama won. So that's all that matters. But that's where we are in society, bro. And, so we can scream. I can scream about college football, NCAA, all you want. But you start screaming at the players, their parents, because they can make the change. You don't show up, guess what? That game is not going to be played. Realistically. I know we talked about the NFL players, but if they don't show up and they stop going to these schools, the games won't be played. But long as you got your son out there and you think he's going to the NFL, he's going to make you millions, going to buy these big homes, buy these luxury cars, what more are you talking about, bro?
yeah.
I'm real quick. I'm gonna say this, but there's a cat that I work with, and I remember he was playing college football. They thought he was gonna go. He went to a couple of teams. He got cut. I remember his mother saying to me one day. He was in college a few years ago. I told my son, if they offer me the extra money, take it. What? Huh? I told him if they offer you the money, we can get.
Said we. We French now.
You caught that?
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, sir. And that's what I'm talking about. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. So when we say pimping the kids out, these parents are pimping their kids too, bro. We may not want to see that, but they're pimping them just as well as these universities are. These kids are getting played, bro. Played.
Yeah, and I think we've known that for years. We've been talking about it for years. One of the things that, and I always say money over morals, but I realized a while ago that sports is entertainment for me. But if the entertainment comes at the price of somebody's life or their health, then it kind of takes the fun out of it, because I don't want to, it's almost like we're viewers and we're watching gladiators. So we don't care who loses because we only remember the winners. And so the other thing about it is, I know how this, the thumbs up and thumbs down. I remember a story, and I was talking about it recently. What really changed the game, especially in college football, is Sam the Bam Cunningham. When he played for USC and he ran all over Alabama, and Bear Bryant decided, I want to see this guy play against my team. I want the fans to see it so we can get colored players on our teams. Not because it was the right thing to do, because they wanted to win and they wanted to make more money. So the foundations were set right there. And so a lot of the
they were like, we got to get us one of them.
Yeah, we got to get us one of them, because it wasn't Bear Bryant who said it first. It was the fans who said it. If we don't get one of them, we're going to lose every game that, we play against them. So that fueled it. That started it. And and a lot of the sports that make a lot of money, most of the money in colleges, is football and basketball. And guess who plays football and basketball? Black kids. Yeah. And then everything else is corrupted behind that. The parents, the schools, the coaches, all that stuff. But the bottom line is entertainment and money. And we fell hook, line, and sinker for it. Entertainment and money. And the bottom line is everybody needs to make money. Let's exploit as much as possible and make as much money as possible. Let's go to the rankings. Clemson is number 1. Black, guess who's number 3? Notre Dame. After that piss poor game, Notre Dame moves up from number 4 to number 3. Georgia drops down to number 4. Alabama number 2. Ohio State haven't even played yet. They are number 5, followed by Oklahoma State. Texas A&M, who had a great game against Mississippi State. Penn State moved up. Cincinnati moved down. Florida still at number 10. And the University of Miami moves up 2 spots. Also BYU You haven't seen BYU play. They have a nice quarterback, nice offense. They're still lighting the ass, as Black like to say, but they showed me something against the University of Houston. And North Carolina drops 9 slots down. They should have beat Florida State. I don't know what happened. I just don't know what happened. Any other thoughts about college football, fellas?
No.
I'm done, bro.
All right.
I give it all I have. I'm done.
All right, let's move to the World Series then. Ice, you predicted it. Houston came close, but no cigars. Tampa Bay is in the World Series against the Dodgers. And I said the Dodgers were going to make it. It was a little scary at one point. Kershaw played playoff Kershaw, and my father said it wasn't his fault that they lost that game. Yeah, I don't know if my father was half asleep watching that game. He said it may have been the manager and how he used him at that particular point. So 5 good innings, he said he should have yanked him. So I could see that. But now we got the matchup. The Dodgers, I always root for the Dodgers because my team is the Yankees, but I always root for the Dodgers because they come from Brooklyn. So, and it's my dad's favorite team. So do they do it this year, Ice?
It's kind of like that the Le'Veon Bell situation. It's all set up for you. You got all the talent, you got all the hype. You got Bellinger with the Bellinger kid out there hitting home runs. They've been running around. The manager Roberts is excited. They not wearing masks. They doing everything, and they playing a little itty bitty kind of team that just has a great pitching staff, and they do it the old-fashioned way. So they should win, but Tampa been going through giants the whole time. They've been knocking down. They beat the Yankees, they beat the Astros, and they're like, why not the Dodgers? They believe they can win, and they right on time. They hot right at time. So on paper, you would say, yeah, the Dodgers can win, but don't sleep on Tampa. I tried to tell you, Stanley Cup, things, and now you mess around after yesterday. Them damn Buccaneers across the board, Tampa.
I'm sorry, Tom Brady. I'm sorry. I should never said you were old. I'm sorry.
that three-peat. Three all across the board, Tampa in the house. It's a weird year like that.
I know Lakerland would love to see the Dodgers win because the Lakers won the COVID International Championship. They call the NBA championship, but I don't call the NBA championship. If you didn't have Golden State in there, you can't be the champion. So you got to be Golden State in order to get that respect you want. Get that respect. But I don't know. This should be a good series. And I watched Tampa Bay as they played against Houston. I thought they were going to give it up to Houston because Houston was coming on, and they were coming on strong. Little Altuve was coming on. Springer, all those guys were really playing like they wanted to get into the World Series. Your heart kind of goes out to Dusty Baker because even though they were down, he was saying, hey, we just got to win one game at a time and we can get right back in this. And he did a hell of a job. But it always seems like people who don't like Dusty Baker can kind of see this as, see, Dusty can't get it done. And I don't look at it that way. I mean, he came in and really kind of salvaged what could have been a real bad situation and got this team this far. So I hope they keep him on. And I hope they gain some success. But this year it didn't happen. Tampa Bay, like I said earlier, if the Yankees couldn't get by them, then that team is always a juggernaut and always the kryptonite for the Yankees. But I thought they were going to lose it. I really did when Houston was coming back. The same with Atlanta. It seems like the Atlanta football team and the baseball team give up big leads at all costs. And the folks in Atlanta, I don't know, they may consider choosing a new team or new teams in Atlanta, professional teams, because the teams just don't pan out. Once they get a big lead, they just can't finish.
Yeah, but it's hard. You just got to get the right pieces in there. You thought they had it, but they didn't. Dodgers experience took over, and now our Dodgers going to do it. You talk about Dusty Baker, we got to make sure that Mr. Roberts does a job with the Dodgers.
Yeah.
They've been loaded forever, and you got one out of there so far. You've been loaded, so you lose again this year, then what? Start all over again. I think Dusty Baker's going to be all right next year.
All right.
Year with those guys.
We know Black is not going to watch the World Series. He don't care. But I'll give you some time to jump in.
It's over, baby. I'm sorry.
So we're going to go to boxing. And there was a big fight this weekend. I had a chance to watch it. Lomachenko against Lopez. And Ice, I can't dispute the decision. They went with Lopez. I can't fight it. But I told you, I texted you yesterday, and I'm like, it seemed to be a fight of two halves. You had Lopez, who dominated the first half of the fight. Then you had Lomachenko coming on in the second. And depending on how you were watching the fight, I had one buddy who said, this should have been a draw. I could see that. I had another buddy who was saying, well, it was Lopez all the way. You said it was Lopez all the way. I can go with all of them because I felt like it was a fight of two halves where it's definitely going to be another fight. But because Lopez is the truth, I thought he fought a very disciplined fight. I felt that he was much quicker than I think than I've seen him before, and that Lomachenko was getting bad advice. Both corners were getting bad advice during the fight. Lomachenko's corner was saying, wait, wait on this guy, and he kind of came on too late. And then Lopez's father, I think at the end of the fight, was saying, all right, you just need to box. You got the fight won. And I'm like, this is really bad advice from two corners, and it could have turned differently if they just didn't fight in the last 3 rounds and kind of bang it out, because the last 3 rounds kind of told you who really needed to win this fight or who should have won this fight.
Yeah, that draw thing, I don't know about that one, bro. The most I can see is Lomachenko on a good day won 4 rounds, bro. Because the first, maybe 1 out of the first 6, because Lopez was busy. Then I can see round 7 when Lomachenko started coming on. 80 started getting more busier with his hands. The other ones, 9, 10 was up for discussion. Maybe even 11. I say 4 rounds. But the one thing about Lopez, because coming in, Lomachenko had all of the hype, and rightfully so. Everybody says he's a pound for pound #1, everything like that. He's older. He had all these amateur fights. And as you mentioned, it was going to take a lot of discipline from Lopez to come in and get this done. And he was right on point. Took his time. He's hitting with them jabs. He was really tapping
the body,
hurting him with the body shots. Yeah. And what happens normally with Lomachenko, everybody says he's a slow starter, which he is, but he usually has a point about round 7, round 8, sometimes earlier than that, when he turned that switch on. And everybody has this master plan how they're going to box him and really use this strategy, but they can never execute the strategy. Nobody can do that. And that's why he's received as this greatest guy or whatever, the pound for pound. This 23-year-old young dude from America that couldn't make the Olympic team, Lomachenko, two-time Olympian champion, he came in and he did exactly what he's supposed to do. And what he did, he went old school. Black, did you see the fight?
I'm afraid not.
You need to see this fight. You need to see this fight because in the end, he did the one thing that you would love. Everybody saying it's close and tight, and Puma said, his dad in the corner said, "You got to fight one, just box, stay away." He said, "Hell no. I don't want the judges to have it. I don't want nobody to get this confused." Round 12, he went in there and started popping him, and at the end of the fight, he was tagging him and hitting him with body shots, hitting him in the face, backing him up. The greatest, supposed to be the great champion right now, he left no doubt in round 12. This is mine. I'm taking all 4 of these belts, and you better not call no damn draw. That's what I love about him. And you're not supposed to do that at 23. So when you see a boxing performance like that over one of the greatest modern day champions, I took my hat off to that young man because I was like, he didn't get rattled. He did exactly what to do. And he literally, they say you have to beat the champion. He beat the champion, clearly.
You could hear him in the fight towards the end of the 12th round telling Lomachenko, come on, let's go, come on. Yeah. And because he was tiring, I saw in the 9th, 10th, and 11th round where Lopez was, you could tell he almost out of gas in the fight. But then in the 12th round, he just, for I don't know where it came from, he was just going toe to toe and was like telling Lomachenko, come on, let's go, come on, like bring your best. And I think Lomachenko was really afraid of that Lopez power. Lopez has knockout power. And I think that was that explained the hesitation the first half of the fight. They didn't want to get caught with that. But surprisingly, he didn't use those angles, and maybe it was because Lopez was taking the angles from him.
Yeah, I think a lot of it was. I think he's actually beating to the punch. He kind of beat him at his own game because you notice he was moving a lot, and he did the one thing that most people don't do. He was tapping that body, and that body was hurting bad. And then of course the head was gonna fall, and he was just. I think he was a smart fighter, even though it was brash. He talked a lot beforehand. He fought the perfect fight. He beat Lomachenko, and now the world is his. He can do whatever he wants to. He can go up, he can come back down, stay a little where he is right now. But it was a masterful performance, masterful for a guy. And now he clearly is, top 10. In
135.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I expect a rematch with this. But let's move up to NBA rumors. What are you hearing out there, Black, as far as NBA rumors out there? Because I'm hearing a lot of rumors about the Knicks, Chris Paul and Melo coming back to the Knicks. We're talking about Paul George coming to the Knicks. I'm hearing all these different rumors. And every time I see one, I just kind of keep turning the page or just blot it out my mind. But what are you hearing, man?
I'll say this, man. I mean, you heard some things about the Knicks, Paul George, whatever the case may be. I don't buy none of it. To me, this is stuff how the NBA was trying to keep themselves relevant. I think the NBA learned a long time ago. This is how the NFL kind of keep themselves relevant off season. So they got some stuff floating around. They're saying some dumb things. I don't think nobody's trading the Knicks for anybody in the Knicks team. Let's be honest, bro. Nobody wants no one that's in the Knicks uniform. That stops it right there. I mean, it just really does. I mean, so the mere fact that that type of talk is going on, I don't think you're going to see anything. I mean, I think the talk that should be going on now is what the Greek Freak is going to do. But they're not even really talking about that because he's not saying much. But as far as trades and stuff, I just don't see it. I will say this, man. I respect the hire of Tyronn Lue to the Clippers, merely because I like Tyronn Lue. I like what he does as far as coaching, but he ain't afraid to get in your face, bro, and tell you what you ain't doing right. I see him do it with LeBron, and that's what the Clippers need. I do think they make some changes and upgrade this squad a little bit, but as far as from a coaching perspective, I like that part of him, man. I think that's what the Clippers now. I don't think that's what Doc was offering them. He baby Kawhi Leonard, and you can't, bro. You can't. I mean, you're the coach. You got to coach him. You just can't let him go out there and do whatever they want to do and just stand back. And when it falls, you act like it wasn't your fault. But as far as rumors and trades, most of the time the NBA ain't much going on. For the most part, everybody's where they want to be. And again, I don't see where any team right now is kind of trade. I think most teams kind of feel for the most part, especially teams that made it to the playoffs, that they're okay. And I think the Knicks fans might leave the Garden if they brought back Carmelo Anthony. I'm telling you, they always so.
I don't know.
If you brought back, I'm here to tell you. Most Knicks, trust me, I know some. You and I are hardcore. I'm an ex-Knicks fan for the most part, but I know some hardcore. When I say hardcore, we were hardcore at one point. Still hardcore Knicks fans, bro. They'd be revoked. They're revoked if they brought back Carmelo Anthony, man. I'm here to tell you. So when you even hear that, you know that it's just made up stuff. It's propaganda.
I'm even hearing Derrick Rose to the LA Lakers is one of the moves that the Lakers are trying to make. Anthony Davis, LeBron got him hemmed up in the room saying, you're going to sign another contract, come back here, we're going to do this again. What are some of the things that you're hearing?
Yeah, no, you mentioned about Derrick Rose. I mean, the way that they went about their picking up veterans, that wouldn't surprise me because they always like Rose. They wanted Rose beforehand. I mean,
right.
He's doing well in Detroit. But the trade before, they couldn't work it out. But now it kind of makes a little bit more sense because Detroit's kind of going another way. You know, they may not be on that next level. So they might have to work a sign and trade or something like that with Rose and send him to LA. And you got Rondo opting out. You got some other guys opting out, looking at some other things. Derrick Rose wouldn't be a bad addition if that's what they want to do. I even heard something about there might be some interest in Dwight Howard. You know, like, are you serious?
What stupid teams are going to do that? But, you know.
I'm saying,
it may be the Knicks.
I mean, but you just look at, you have to wait and see how this plays out. A lot of teams looking around. You mentioned about the Knicks. I mean, I'm with Black Door. Who the hell you got to trade? You ain't got nobody to trade. So what's the one boy played for Duke? The guy that they had, this Zion's guy. But other than that, I mean, you don't like Knox. You don't have nothing to trade. You don't have no draft picks. I mean, I don't know. Chris Paul, I think, is going to be a hot commodity because a lot of people are thinking about that too. What's wild to me is when you look down at the coaching search down in Houston, and then the finalists are John Lucas, Jeff Van Gundy, and a guy by
brother, right?
Yeah. I'm like,
please get the Van Gundys in Houston.
dude,
Whenever you want to see a team,
you talk about a time warp. What you gonna say to James Harden? They were looking at him like, what? They got a guy by the name of Oliver that I think I think it's Oliver. I'm trying to think. He might be the guy they really might be looking at because I think they like him a lot. He was like a coach's son or something, but he's done real well. But you bring Jeff Van Gundy in there with Harden and Westbrook.
That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
Oh my God, that's gonna be bad.
I heard that. I'm like, please, Houston, get the Van Gundy brothers to kind of explore. They'll probably move that team. They'll probably fire everybody, then move back to Seattle. We need a franchise in Seattle.
Yeah.
So please, Houston.
I like the uniforms. I probably will buy some gear if they go back to Seattle. I probably go buy me some Sonic gear. I always like the Sonics.
Please let the Houston Rockets implode and bring us back to Seattle Supersonics. Please,
yes.
please. Black sent you a text earlier. I sent both of you a text earlier about now it's kind of making sense why some of these players aren't really improving all year. If they're playing Call of Duty on on the computer all day, not working on their free throws or 3-pointers or in their game, it explains a lot.
Yeah, I noticed that, man. I want to say this real quick before I address that because I think the general manager, I know he stepped down.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you, man. I think that came from the NBA, bro.
Really? Because of the China situation?
Yeah, that came from the NBA. That wasn't Houston. Because it's like, why now? They lost that series, about a month ago?
Mm-hmm.
I think they got a call from the NBA. It's like, it's time for him to go. Move on. Because I think the owner loved him in a sense. Basically, you got to realize he made some crazy changes, but they're always kind of in the thick of things. Why now get rid of him? I think they got a call like based on the money they lost, and it's a way that the NBA can start to repair stuff with China. He's no longer working at NBA. You can go back and start to repair things. But that being said, man, don't get me wrong. You got a chance to do whatever you want to do in your spare time, whatever the case may be. But I don't understand because I know back in the day. And I'm pretty sure it probably still goes on, but then again, maybe not. Back in the day, at the end of the season, when you finished and you had a bad season or a good season, the coaches brought you in before you left, and they gave you a list of things they want to see you were going to improve on.
Exit.
If they are doing it, these players aren't paying attention. They're not paying attention, especially Ben Simmons. There's no way he's reading that list. But the one, before I get off this one, I got to say this. I saw somebody who said, I read a headline where they said, for now, Dwight Howard is a Hall of Famer. Yeah. Are you out of your mind? But they can't stand NBA Hall of Fame. Maybe. He's a Hall of Famer now?
Yep. That's what it is. I know we play video games. You and Black are talking about hooking up on Madden. But when you're a professional player, is it a good look to be playing video games when your game is really not that tight? You haven't won a championship, and instead of playing Call of Duty, you should be working on free throws, 3-pointers, and your footwork to be a better player in the NBA?
I mean, yeah, you can say that, but this is a new wave, man, new school. So a lot of those guys think they made it, right? Once they made it, it's like, why the hell you need to improve? I just need to be doing what I'm doing. So why should I want to improve? I mean, look at Ben Simmons. I mean, the jump shot, even Markieff Morris, not Markieff Morris, but what's the one kid they lost? They had the issue with the mental thing with his shoulder and everything. He got drafted.
No, Orlando now. I know you're talking.
Yeah. I mean, at least he went down and worked on it. The guy finally said, you know what? I'm going to have to figure this out. And he did. It took him a while to do it, but he went and figured it out. But you're not giving no effort because they think they made it. And, you know, even with Ben Simmons can't shoot the basketball like they want him to, he still has endorsement deals and he making money. People want to see him. He dating a Kardashian. That's up in his rep. So, hell, he can't do no wrong. So why should you improve your game? And you got everything you need. What else improving your game will help you? Win a championship? Likely not. Likely not, because they're not bringing in the right people. You brought in Doc Rivers. All I'm saying is I don't think there's a lot of incentive for guys today, especially younger guys, to improve their game unless you want to. Unless you really legitimately want to win, that's what you do. But a lot of guys just, they good. It's acceptable. So it's like, well, hell, I ain't gonna work no harder. I'm gonna go over here and play Call of Duty. Let me call McGee. What's up, boy? You on? All right. Let me holler at you. You know, let's do this 5-man rotation. You know, get our team up. Spend all that time up. But that's what is being catered to them. They're being catered to for that, and they're getting paid for it and everything too. But you're right. You know, you see cats like you listen to JJ Redick, man. JJ Redick was like, you know, once I realized that I wasn't gonna be a star in the NBA, I had to change my game. And the coach said, if you really want to be a difference maker, you got to work. And he said, once I got that, and I wasn't trying to be a punk anymore, I realized this is my role and this is how I stay in the league. But everybody don't see it that way.
Yeah,
I got to double down on that, bro. I mean, I really do, real quick, if you don't mind, because I think there's a lot of cats now, man. They just want to make it, have the endorsements. I just saw a Hulu commercial a little while ago with Embiid on it. Why is anybody hiring Embiid to sell anything?
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of the laziest players in the NBA. For what reason? He's accomplished nothing. He took 2 years off to play garbage basketball. But that's where we are. These cats get endorsements. You know, you look at Mayfield in football. Why does he have endorsements? What's he done? They make decent, not decent, they make very good money. They get this, and they don't care anymore, bro. They become lazy. The coaches don't get in their face. They don't motivate them. Their jobs aren't threatened. So why should they show up and play and give you anything? So a lot of these players aren't hungry. They don't want a championship. Maybe when they've been in the league for like 10, 20 years and they realize, okay, I can't do it no more. And now all of a sudden you want to go to a team and win a championship. But really, man, that's the mentality of a lot of sports athletes now. Once you get that contract, you get in there, get yourself a couple of endorsements, bro, at that point, you sit around and play video games all day. Sit around and play Tour Duty, whatever it is, and play it all day. Don't go to improve yourself. I always remember Mike Vick telling the ex-coach of Atlanta Falcons, I have to apologize. He said, because you guys gave me DVDs to study each week, and I left them in my trunk. That's what you need to know, bro. He left. Here's a man that's made it. As a starting quarterback in the NFL, and what the coaches told him to do, he put the DVDs every week in his trunk, and they're probably still in there, bro, if he didn't sell the car. That's all you need to know. That's it. They think their talent alone, they don't have to practice. Allen Iverson, they don't do none of that stuff because they've made it. And it's sad. That's their mentality.
Yeah, I saw some photographs on social media where LeBron James is in the gym getting ready for next season. Butler, they just finished the championship. Butler in the gym getting ready for next season. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what you got to do. If you want to be a champion, you want to play on that level. So say what you want about those guys. They in the gym. I mean, the championship's not even maybe a week old. They in the gym getting it, saying, okay, I got to get my body and mind prepared for next season. So to see that and then see what some of these players are doing, I even have to get on Devin Booker, who's in that group. I know he's young and all that stuff, but if you want to play on that level, you get back in, you get your ass in the gym, photocopy and film that you back in the gym and you going back at it, because there's a season that you want to be champion. You saw what happened. You want to be champion. I haven't seen LeBron looking at old tapes of Michael Jordan saying, you know what, go back to the drawing board. I gotta figure out this mentality. I gotta do something to get to this level. So that's what makes champions. Black, what's your first question, man?
Sue Bird sat down with the CNN sports reporter a little while ago. She said something that was kind of interesting. And I wanted to get you guys' opinion on it. I was going to send it to you, and I said, I'll wait and just thought it's a question. But she came out and said that women's sports, live under, not necessarily a shadow, but live under some things in a sense. She said that if you look at women's soccer, for the most part, there's a bunch of cute little white girls playing it. But when you turn to the WNBA, you find a bunch of black women, tall women, gay women, and America somehow has a problem with that. And that's part of the reason why they haven't accepted and really kind of watch it. I want to get your opinion.
Ice?
Well, I mean, I understand why she says that, and maybe some of that is true, but why didn't she say about white gay women? You understand what I'm saying? It's almost as if it's dominated, or they see it as black women that are gay. And there's a lot of white women that are gay, and people probably look at it the same way. And fans watching it for that reason too. I found that kind of ironic when she said that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, because you pinpointed it to say these are the groups that almost like you lump these three words together, that they go together. And now once you say gay, but not, it's kind of like gay, black, manly, or whatever you want to call it. This ain't anything about white or just gay in general. So, I mean, that's up to interpretation. It might be interpreted the wrong way. But we talked about that earlier. It's a lot of that. But I guess, would it make a difference if it was primarily white and it was gay and they were manly? No. The people just like the product, and they don't like it because of what it is. And it's being gay is one thing people don't like. But the other thing too is it's hard to watch, because I said this before, years ago when they had the ABL, they had smaller, lesser teams with more talent lumped on the bigger on the teams. So it made it more competitive. Now it's like you can't compete with some of the other teams. That's why they play in the summertime. There's a reason why they do that. There's a reason why they don't put them in the fall like normal basketball.
My first question when I heard about this was, so what do we do? Get rid of the black players? That's the way I kind of looked at it. And I go, you know what? Let me look at this, and let's be honest with this. That may be an issue. I understand what she's saying. That may be an issue and why it's not getting a lot of pub. But I would say this: if I'm watching soccer, I'm more likely to watch the international men as opposed to the women. If I'm watching basketball, I'm more likely to watch the men over the women. It's just my preference. Okay, and I feel that, and take nothing away from women's sports. I just feel that the better athlete, in my opinion, and what I want to watch are the men. And so you have to compete, and especially this particular season, it was really exposed. 2020 has exposed a lot of things, but this particular season, it exposed that when you have them all together and you have to compete, you cannot compete against it. And that's why I kept saying, even when this started, that the WNBA is getting a raw deal, because the summer is supposed to be their time, and then everybody put their sport in the summer, and they got lost in the shuffle because people wanted to watch baseball, NFL football, and basketball, and everything else in between, UFC, boxing, whatever. And the WNBA got lost in the shuffle because folks, to be perfectly honest, if they were playing in the summer by themselves, yeah, I'd be more inclined to watch them because they're pretty much the only thing in town. But this summer, I would pass the WNBA to get to the NBA and to get to other sports. And it's just at this particular level in this society, women's sports don't rank as a primary kind of sports entertainment vehicle in this country. Maybe in other countries, but not this country. It's all about NBA and the men, and they dominate sports in this country. And so until you come up with a product that could compete with that, this is always going to be the case. Black?
No, I agree with that. I think they started out well, and I don't think that the blackness plays a part. I don't think people tune in because people tune in to watch college women basketball. They just do.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, but a lot of times in college women's basketball, you may think that the players are gay, but when they get the WNBA, they make sure they are, bro. And I don't care what they want to do. Sue Bird gay herself. She has her gay, whatever her friend or the gay may be. There's a lot of people turned off by that, bro. And I said this before numerous times. I think their play is not bad. I think the league has done a horrible job marketing them. But for the most part, a lot of parents don't want their daughters go up playing basketball. It just is what it is. We don't mind our sons growing up playing basketball, but as a sport, mothers are not pushing their daughters to watch basketball and grow up and play and do a little basketball. That's a small minority there, what you have. So from that your audience is going to be small. So when you harp on making pride a big thing, that you're gay and all that, you're tuning in, turning off a lot of people. And they don't want to understand that. And I said this before. You're tuning off. Instead of let the game itself speak for itself, you can do whatever you want to do. But when I go to your website and I see your pictures, I got to see pictures of you in a pride vote, a float, and all this stuff. I could either choose to tune in or tune out. I like the sport. I may pay attention, but I'm different. The average mom, you got to realize that a lot of us started like in sports in our teenage years. The average mom is going to not turn their daughter over to watch you stay on the float and wear that rainbow pride stuff and basically talk about it. And I said this a couple of weeks ago. When the coach came out, when that coach from Minnesota came out, talk about, okay, there's a part of the population that may, go well. But even gay younger women, they're not into sports. They're just not. So in reality, you got to realize it's a business at the same time. It's not about pushing that down people's throat. It's about selling a business. It's about selling a niche. And that's what they don't realize they did a horrible job doing over the years. They spent more time trying to sell gayness and we're liberated and this is what we do than actually selling the game. You don't sell the game, WNBA, and the NBA doesn't sell it. And that's where you made your biggest mistake. If you want to think, and I believe it is, you took more time out trying to sell gayism. Let's be honest. And Sue Berger's about it. Instead of selling the game, sell the game first. You could be whatever you want to be. You could be a clown. You could be a magician, whatever. But it's the game people tune in to watch. They don't want to hear about what you're doing in your off time. They don't want to see that you're with your girlfriend. I'm sorry. LeBron is married. I don't know who LeBron is married to. I don't care. If I tune in to watch the game, I'm tuning to watch the game. I'm not tuning to see you come off the court, kiss your girlfriend. It is what it is. And that's part of the reason why the WNBA is where it is now. I remember years ago when that wasn't a factor. When the league first started, I went to a game. I had to sit upstairs in the Raptors in the Madison Square Garden, which holds what, 19,000? Mm-hmm. You tell me how you go from 19,000 to 200.
Yeah, good point. Ice, what's your question?
Yeah, real quick. I was torn on one question, then I'm like, I'm gonna drop this one because I think it's something we should talk about. Hopefully it don't take too long. Sports heroes. You think about African American heroes. Puma, you wrote an article that's on the reality of sports, talked about disappointment and finding out what Jim Brown was connecting with, meeting with Trump, and now we see other personalities meeting with Republicans or whatever. And my point or my question is this. As African-American sports fans, are we so caught up in our heroes that we really don't see what's happening? And the reason why I say that, because you and I had talked about this before. You know, we had talked about Roosevelt Greer, one of the top NFL players of all time. And then, you know, I mentioned to you about him, and then he was at the Democratic convention when Robert Kennedy got assassinated, and he caught Sirhan, the shooter. And then the first thing people were like, I said, well, he's a Republican. People were like, no, he's a Democrat. Come to find out, I shared the information with you. He was a bodyguard for the Kennedys, protecting the mom. But he was going to be a candidate to run as a Republican. And are we bamboozled, or are we missing the point that a lot of African American people that make a lot of money are closet or whatever Republicans? They just are. Even our sports heroes. Are we missing the boat on that?
Black?
To an extent, yes. And I mean, I'm not mad at you per se, Rosie Greer, for being a Republican. That's your choice, bro. I don't think, to me, because you're Black, you have to be a Democrat. I mean, I would just be realistic. That's my thing. But I think when you talk about Jim Brown, it's totally different. Because Jim Brown sold you, he was a soul brother man when he really wasn't. That's the difference. He went out of his way to make it appear he was one way. And even, you know, Ice, when you broke it out, the fact that picture we all see, when we thought there was unity, he was trying to get Ali to do something totally different. That to me, brother, is like a traitor in a sense, because you're coming across to the people and the masses portraying to be one thing, and then when your back is turned, you're doing something totally different. So I make the distinguish between, okay, if you want to be Republican, that's your choice. I mean, I'm not going to discount you because you're African American, you're black, whatever. You say I identify more with Republican values. That's your choice, bro. You have a right. But when you mislead people to thinking you're one thing, and then you go back and you're totally something different, there's my problem, bro. That's my problem. I can't look at you as a hero when you do that. And that's the difference for me. So when cats basically say who they are, I don't have to love it. I respect you more for standing up and taking your stance. But when you kind of try to play both sides of the field, which a lot of them do, they really, really do. They want to be really on the right, but they're more left on the left, then that's my issue.
Yeah, you see it in sports a lot. And, a lot of these folks are coming out and saying, this is my first time voting. They're in a different economic class where maybe some of the Republican kind of policies favor them. So they may be catering to, the common man, but behind the scenes, they're watching their money and they know their brand and they know that rolling on this particular policy may put them in another stratosphere as far as the money. And then it's not too many of us that are in their fan base that are on their level. So they want to keep that to keep the money rolling in. It's almost like they're taking advantage of us in certain respects. They want to keep the money rolling in. They want the fandom, but they're doing other things. I can't speak any more on than I did on Jim Brown. That speaks for itself. But I'm looking at some of these rappers who are getting caught out there, really kind of trying to be with the people, but then getting caught out there and exposed for what they really are. And it's just interesting to see it. And you see it in athletes, you see it in actors and all that. When you don't know these people personally, you can't really kind of hold up. It's hard to kind of hold them up as heroes. And a lot of us do that because they look like us, they talk like us, they're saying the same things as us, but they ain't for us. Some of them ain't for us. Just because we got the same skin doesn't mean we're kin. And that's a hard lesson for us to learn. But we learn it every day as folks get exposed every day. Ice?
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, because when we were talking about that before, and I read your article, and I mean, I understood where you're coming from, but then I was thinking to myself, well, are we just getting duped, or we buying all in? I mean, because I remember Jim Brown let it be known later, of course, that he voted for Nixon, man, like twice. I mean, so is he still down if he voted for Nixon back in the day? It was always about the money back then, but we just didn't catch the clues, or he didn't provide the hints to let us know. But I think so many of us, we have been conditioned when it comes even like politics to just think one way. All Democrats are always about the black people, instead of really looking at people as individuals, right? Your candidates individuals, because just because they rolled their way and now you're voting for somebody's great grandson because he got the same last name, so he must gonna be just like his great granddaddy. Doesn't always work that way, and so many people are just blown away when you see other people now are saying, "Yeah, I met with that person. I'm trying to get something done," and they're like, "Oh my God, oh, it's blasphemous." Okay, well, what you surprised for? He just like you. He trying to get his. It doesn't surprise me. Again, because somebody has a title or have a bunch of money. In my opinion, we keep putting them on this level, like, oh, they holier than thou. I'm like,
they earned it. Yeah.
Hey, if he might be at the strip club just like you. He just go to a high-end strip club. You'll see. Lil Williams with the chicken wings. I'm just saying. So
The gentleman's club.
Oh.
Not the dirty club, but the gentleman's.
Okay, well, you call it gentleman's club. You know what? It's just a little higher class women. But when you've been to one strip club or gentleman's club, you've been to them all, baby.
No stretch marks. No stretch marks.
Right.
I love stretch marks, baby.
Hey, look, champagne a little bit might be on the higher end. It costs you more. You got to pay. You might about to have 3 drinks that you got to pay for before you can get to the stage.
Stretch marks are in, baby.
Like in Las Vegas. I'm just saying, if it looks like a duck, you call it you call it a goose. I said, look like a damn duck to me.
I think realistically, man, what we have to start to realize is that people are actors and actresses, bro. We have to start to kind of realize that. And I think a lot of times we assume because they do a certain thing, they feel a certain way, and they respond a certain way, they just don't. and they're actors. And they spoke of. I'm not even going to say some, some rappers that you're probably speaking of.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna mention their names. No.
Yeah, a little surprised, but because once you realize you can make money a certain way, bro, that's the path you take.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happened is we think per se because we put our interest, we put our money, you owe us something. No, bro, you paid for the acting part, and a lot of rap is pure acting. It's what it is. It's acting. You got to act a certain way. You have to show a certain image, and then you get disgruntled when they move a certain way. But you bought the hype. You bought that. You bought the fantasy. And even though you speak of Gentlemen's Club, let's be honest, stripping, rapping, some of it is pure fantasy, bro.
All of it is pure fantasy.
Yeah.
It's fantasy. And you buy into it thinking it's real, and you think this person's supposed to live, because with that fantasy, you have basically built them into this human that you want them to be. They can't live up to that. They can't. And you're starting to see that more and more and more, bro. And realizing, in a sense, you were duped. If you believed it for a time that was just more than an act, yeah, you were duped.
Yeah. All right, man. This turned into When Black Men Talk. You got another question, Black? I thought we missed the show on Sunday. This turned into When Black Men Talk.
Yeah, another question. You're right. That's true, bro. I can't wait to get on with this coming Sunday, bro. I got some stuff that I want to go over.
Okay.
I'm gonna say this, man. You turned me into a comedian. Bill, what's his name? Blur, I think his name is.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. We're talking about this coming Sunday, bro.
Oh.
I admire that cat for more reasons than none.
Yeah, I love him. He's real. He's real.
Yeah, bro, as real as you want to get. I mean, you don't get no more realer than that. And married to his sister too, so he's got to be somewhat real. If he ain't, she ain't stay there long. My question here is that looking at these NFL coaches, man, it's like a trend now to an extent. You ain't got to make a whole season to be bad anymore. They're getting you fired early. So if we had to guess who's going down next, who's the next one to fall within the next couple of weeks?
I already know mine. Yeah.
I mean, it's clear, man. You got to say the Jets, man. Come on, you got to say Gase. I mean, he's still mad. People shooting words at him. He's firing back. And players don't like him. There's no way, man. There is no way that you can sit back and watch that dumpster fire anymore. You can say what you want to about Washington, say what you want to about the Giants, but at least like they trying. That dumpster fire in New York, don't nobody want to be there, man. And it's just a bad scene. It is a bad scene. You're supposed to have a franchise quarterback, and he don't know what the hell's going on. He's trying to get out the game. Then you bring in Flacco. He's like, I don't want to play. Nobody want to play. And then the wide receivers was like, damn, who the hell is that? Who's that guy? Who you gonna bring back? Al Toon? I mean, they so desperate.
That's a blast from the past.
Oh.
Like, I'm trying to figure out what's taking him so long to get rid of this guy. I don't know what's taking him so long. I mean, it's obvious he didn't do a great job in Miami. I mean, he did a horrible job in Miami. He's come over with the Jets and done even a worse job. I don't know. I don't know if it's a favor to Peyton Manning. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why this is taking so long when the players have made it very clear they don't want to play for him. You got they're undisciplined. They got a defensive coordinator who is basically just playing bounty hunter with the different teams, and they're going to get people hurt. So I'm not sure what's taking them so long. Where ownership is like, they're dragging their feet on this. When you see the Atlanta coach, and I'm pretty sure there's some other coaches. I think the Giants coach is on the bubble. If Dallas don't come back in this game, it might be McCarthy next week. Dallas is, I mean, I'm sitting there watching it, and I don't even know if Dak could have helped this in this particular game. They're down 21-0 right now. So it's like, they're not wasting time because we're in I call it internet phase. We're in the internet society where things have to happen now, and folks aren't waiting. People are putting teams together, want championship. Look at the LA Lakers. Put a team together 2 years later, bam, championship. That's what teams want. We talked about the Washington Nationals last year. Put a team together, bam, championship. People want that gold ring, and they're not waiting around for 5, 6, 7 years to get it, right?
Yeah, I think I might have shared this with you yesterday. I think the Detroit Lions head coach is really on a chopping block, bro. I think Woody Johnson owns the Jets. I think the Jets are going to ride with this for a little while because they don't want to realize they made a mistake. They don't want to realize that. I mean, they hired this guy when Peyton Manning called the owner. He was dumb enough to hire. There's no one where you, like you said, you can look at the job that Gates did with the Dolphins and thought he was a smart move to bring to New York. There's just, you knew coming in, it didn't smell right. But the word was, man, that if Detroit didn't win yesterday, that they was going to fire him. That they were ready to kind of pull the trigger and fire him. Why, I'm not sure. Well, then again, I do know he's not winning, but I kind of, with those little kind of maybe a little premature, they was putting that out there, but I don't think they're going to keep winning. So I'm going to say, I think the Jets are going to ride them a little bit more longer because you're right. What is taking them so long? I have no idea. I think the Giants head coach is going to be there next year, bro. If they don't get rid of general manager, he's not going to pull it because he hired him. So he's going to let him roll next year, and he's probably going to fire him next year to kind of save himself. But I think the Detroit Lions, I think that coach, and I think quietly, I think Jacksonville coach is in trouble, bro. I think Jacksonville coach is really in trouble because that team is starting to spiral and go downhill fast. They're just not putting it together. They started looking good first week, but every week they're just starting to slide a little more and more downhill. I think those two coaches will probably go before the Jets head coach go.
All right, Ice, one more question.
Yeah. Big Ten returns to college football this week, all right? A lot of pressure, first they said, no, we're not playing now. 45 came home, made it all better, put a Band-Aid on it. Now everybody's wanting to play. They're going to run with a very stringent, rigid schedule. They're playing 9 straight weeks of football. There's no room for changing games or anything like that, too. You think that's too much pressure considering with all of the COVID testing? How you think that's going to play out?
Black?
I think they got duped into this playing this season, bro. And here again, it's for the money, it's for the parents, and everything else. 9 weeks of straight playing football for kids that are not getting paid. That's unbelievable. It's unbelievable, man. And I know you said it earlier that with Ohio State's ranked number 5, how do you get played? I'm just understand. I'm trying to understand this for a second. You don't play the first 3-4 weeks, and you still how? I mean, so that says all you need to know. It's like, that's it. It's like, so you tell me next year that the ACC can stay out until what, week 4 and come in, they could be ranked number 8. So it's a joke, bro. It's a joke. I mean, it really is. At the end of the day, it's a joke. It's amazing. But I don't think it's fair to the kids that they had to start late and come and play 9 straight weeks. But then again, who cares? Go out there, do the best you can. The Big Ten wants one team. If ain't nothing but one, they want one team in that top 4 to represent them. That's all they want now. It could be Nebraska, no matter who it is. They want one team. When the dance starts, they want one team in there. And that's the bottom line.
This is a clear example of they really don't care about the welfare of these kids. And, for 9 straight weeks, some games are going to get postponed. There's going to be some hiccups in the schedule. Then what do you do then? Do you just kind of just push it through to get to the playoffs? Or do you say, okay, this experiment didn't work? Because we're starting to see that now. There was a lot of games that were supposed to happen last weekend that they just postponed because, and we talked about it like 5 or 6 weeks of this, then you're going to see a lot of this kind of virus and pandemic kind of exposing themselves. And then you have a country that I know in Illinois, they're talking about shutting it down again. So, you're going to try to do 9 weeks in the cesspool, and you're going to think that you're not going to get scathed up, or you're going to come through it unscathed. It's not going to happen. So I know you two always tease me about you wanted to shut down.
That's NFL.
But I guess I look at, reading stuff on the after effects of if you do get this virus, what happens to your body in the after effect, and can you be an effective, or can you go pro after having breathing problems, all this other stuff? I mean, we don't know a lot. And so my thing was, until we do know, that we should put everything on pause. Not that I don't love football or basketball, all that stuff. We need to know before we venture out and do stuff. I guess that's a wise men tread while fools kind of rush in kind of philosophy I have. But Ice?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's bizarre. I mean, if I think they was going to try to play, they should have kind of gave themselves a little leeway. I think that the Big Ten, if you really messed up because as the commissioner, you go, we're not turning back. This is the law. This is it. Okay, we saw how much that law lasted, right? You said there's no turning back. You're not going to change anything with your protocol, but you turn back. You succumb to the pressure, and now they're playing 9 straight weeks. I think it's crazy. Things are going to happen. I will say this, and y'all might think this is bizarre, but as they move forward and you see some of your bigger teams or the better teams, they're winning. And let's say week 5 something happens. Or let's say it's 2 teams that nobody really is going to really win a lot of games. I can see them games getting canceled. And they go, well, oh, but such and such is okay. We're going to get 8 games in, and we're going to move this back. You might have to play 2 games this week or whatever. But I see them switching stuff around because they want to make sure, as you mentioned, to be in that 4, and they will do whatever the hell it takes to be in that 4. And we got to come back on. We're not playing Christmas Day. We come back on that following Tuesday like the NFL was doing, so we can get in and somebody can play Alabama. Damn right, we're going to do it. We're going to do whatever we got to do because that's why we came back.
And these bowl games, teams winning 6 games and going to a bowl game under COVID, please. We're not watching them now, so why even put them on?
I don't think you're going to see a lot of that. I think you're not going to see as many bowl games. There's going to be significant ones that are on that's going to make some money. Because the bowl games is about the fans. We know that.
Yeah.
Right? Bowl games is about the fans. If you can't make no money from all that, you might as well just put the ones on TV that matter and let people watch them and go from there.
All right. Black, your last second shot?
I'm going to stick with the WNBA, man. I think that they have to realize first, it's a business. And you want to have a platform, and that's all well and good. And I'm not knocking the platform, but realize it's a business and find out who's your ideal audience and appeal to them. Find a way to appeal to them, and hopefully you can build that sport up. I think realistically, it might be a little too late, though.
All right, Ice?
Yeah, we talked about that fight, Lopez versus Lomachenko, and I was listening to one of the announcers, and the first thing he said out the box was, this is a great fight. He says, this is not like the Floyd Mayweather era where, it was about managing the business of boxing instead of managing the boxing of boxing. He said he's glad they got into the ring almost as if Floyd ducked everybody. And I went back and did a little research. I'm like, first of all, Lomachenko was 32 years old. He fought like 15 times as a professional. And, he's fought like 400 amateur fights. And almost had the same amount of fights as a 23-year-old like that. But when you look at Floyd Mayweather, and the man was 32, right? Mm-hmm. Fought like 15, 16 fights. But then I was like, let me go back and look at this. But Floyd Mayweather at 24 years old fought Diego Corrales, who was undefeated. Then he went at 26. 28, he fought Zab Judah. 30, he fought De La Hoya and Ricky Hatton. 32, he fought Juan Manuel Marquez. 33, Shane Mosley. 35, Mikhail Goto. And then in 36, he fought Guerrero and Canelo Alvarez. In 37, he fought Marcos Madano twice. So how the hell is he ducking? He fought more guys at 24 on before he even got to 32 than Lomachenko. But it just, and I mean, people don't like Floyd. I get that because of what he's done on the outside of the ring. I'm good with that. But damn, I mean, just tell the truth about it. I mean, other people just need to realize as a fighter, he would fight anybody. Just mad because he didn't fight Pacquiao earlier.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. My last second shot goes out to a Laker that you didn't hear about that will get a championship ring. He decided to opt out. Avery Bradley, he donated about $30,000 to the WNBA with an emphasis on giving the money to women who had children while they were in the bubble. And so him and his wife donated that money to the league's players for supplies for the players and things of that sort. So kudos out to him. You'll hear about LeBron and everybody else, but I think this was a championship move right here and him donating that money, even though he didn't play 1 minute in the bubble. That's our show for tonight. Catch us on our NFL picks. I think I might get a win tonight too. I'm the only one to pick Arizona. Woo-hoo. I'm climbing up there. Puma's coming. Puma's coming. Puma's coming.
I got that trademark. You can't take that, baby.
It sounds so nasty when you say it. We'll catch you on Wednesday for our NFL picks, week 7. We'll see you then.